There's another major piece of Canadian history up here that took place well after the Klondike Gold Rush, but it was connected, of course. And that is what happened after the gold rush, because obviously all that gold, there was still a lot of gold to be found in the creeks and the rivers around here. And that didn't escape the notice of a lot of big corporations and financiers out of the States. Groups like the Guggenheim family and the Rothschilds had heavy investments in gold operations up here. And one of the ways that they did it was through dredging. And these were major, these are huge wooden boats, really, because they floated, um, that were designed to basically scoop the rocks right out of the creek in huge volumes. You're seeing the um, output part there at the end. And in the front, they would have, here you can see part of the front end. They basically, this big piece that would swing back and forth and dig into the creek beds with giant shovels and scoop it up and go through this big drum that would separate the gold from the ore, from the rocks. And they were quite effective, apparently, on this particular machine. This is one of the only ones that are left here. There were about 5 or 6 of these that made their way up from the US. They were built in the US. It took them over a year to get them up here. And then they're assembled on site. And they required power plants. They required machine shops. They did everything up here because it was before the highway was even existed. So these machines started up here in around the 1920s, late 20s, early 30s, and operated this particular one, what they call Dredge number 4. It's now a National Historic Site. It's operated by Parks Canada. I wouldn't say they restored it, but they've made it so it's accessible, and they do a tour and stuff on it. I just finished a tour. On its biggest day, it pulled 800 ounces of gold in one day. Over the life of this machine, there was over 300,000 ounces that were pulled out of the creek beds. It operated until late 50s, I think 1958, 1959, until eventually it just wasn't profitable anymore. And that wasn't because there was no gold, it was because of the price of gold. Gold, as you may not realize, was fixed price, and the gold standard was in place. It was fixed at about $40, right from around 1910 or 1900 up until 1971, when North America, most of the world, went off the gold standard. So, you know, at 40 some odd dollars an ounce, cost to run this machine just continually climbed, and it just wasn't worthwhile. And so it was all abandoned. At that time, there wasn't a lot of environmental rules in place, and they could get away with that. So the whole unit was just abandoned in place and sat for many, many years, until Parks Canada ended up purchasing it for $1 and have turned it into a historic site. And they're still working on the actual interpretive center that they're kind of putting together here. But excellent job. I'll give you an idea of the size of the buckets that this thing used.